So, good day. This is Maria Elisa Kiday Mapalo from 3CRIA2-4. Now, I'll answer all the following questions from the Lesson 5 Explosive. So, first, describe the chemistry explosives. Why it is very easy for the terror groups to make their own improvised explosive device. So, chemical explosion may be distinguished from other exothermic reaction by the extreme rapidity of their reaction. An improvised explosive device attack is the use of the homemade bomb and destructive device to destroy, incapacitate, harass, or distract. Improvised explosive devices are used by criminals, vandals, terrorists, suicide bombers, and insurgents. Because they are improvised, many forms ranging from a small pipe bomb to a sophisticated device capable of causing massive damage and loss of life. And improvised explosive devices must contain a fuel and an oxidizer which provide the oxygen needed to sustain the reaction. Number 2. Differentiate between low and high types of explosive and give examples. So, materials that detonates the front of the chemical reaction move faster to the material that the speed of sound is said to be high explosive, and materials that the flagrate are said to be low explosive. Low explosives are mixtures of chemicals that burn very rapidly and both subsonically, meaning that they are deflagrate. It consists typically of fuel and an oxidizer, while high explosive do not need to maintain to make their own bang. So, number 3. Classify the explosive based on its composition and give example. A mechanical explosive is the one that tells on the physical reaction, such as overloading a container with compressed air. Such a device that some application in mining, where the release of gas from chemical explosive may be undurable, but otherwise is a very little use. A nuclear explosive is one in which a sustained nuclear reaction can be made to take place with almost instant rapidly, releasing large amount of energy. Experimentation has been carried on which nuclear explosive of possible petroleum interaction purposes. So, number 4, explain why suicide bombers are very dangerous people. So, suicide bombing is an act in which an individual personally delivers explosive and detonates them to inflict the greatest possible damage. Suicide terrorism on average kills and injures more people with a single attack that they form a terrorism. Number 4, explain why suicide bombers are very dangerous people. So, suicide bombing is an act in which an individual personally delivers explosive and detonates them to inflict the greatest possible damage. Suicide terrorism on average kills and injures more people with a single attack than any form of terrorism. So, number 5, if you are police officer on duty, how would you secure the evidence in blast areas? So, the safety risk of accidental secondary explosion caused by heating from a fire. The safety risk of secondary device explosion at an intentional bombing scene as a complication of the fire investigation by an explosion prior to recurrent with immediately after a fire event. So, isolate the blast site or blast area to the community by taping it with a caution tape and secure the area to prevent the altered evidence and altered scene. So, number 6, describe the purpose of forensic explosive analysis. Explosive investigation is to determine whether the explosion was an incident or was set off deliberately with criminal intent. In addition, explosive analysis often provide key information during an arson investigation.